Good morning. This is the weekly briefing update, and today is November 3rd, 2016. Some upcoming stuff, again, that everybody needs to know about, and we're trying to make sure the word gets out. First thing is, this is basically your last chance about open enrollment. I got another slide here in a second. But remember, by tomorrow, you have to go in and make your selection as far as your insurance and things like that. So we want to make sure that you get that tobacco affidavit properly signed. Raf asked me to remind everybody that your recertification for EMT, both EMT and paramedic, is due certainly now by the end of the month. Make sure that we've done everything that we're supposed to do. Not only have you taken all the classes, but gotten all the paperwork correctly. Very, very, very important. You can't work without your license. The Survey Monkey, according to the chief, on the uniforms is out there, and he is taking those survey results until the 7th, which is this coming Monday. So if you haven't made your opinion known, please get out there and fill out, do the Survey Monkey. So we want everybody's input in the process. Also, another reminder: ISO evaluation begins November 8th, which is next week. That's kind of a big thing for us on the fire side, so we want to make sure that that all our records and our training records and our hose records and all that stuff is really done up. I told you before, Chief Krause and Vatone are getting together. We're going to do a uniform inspection early November to make sure you've got all the appropriate components of your uniform and that everything's serviceable, so look for that coming up. United Way, again, Joyce Brock, Lieutenant Brock, our inspector, is our representative. She's taken the pledges, and the battalion officers will collect them up at the individual stations and bring them to the East and West commands. So we want to make sure that we get this worthwhile project done. Now, also, again, wouldn't be a briefing without me reminding you that December 6th at Lake Eva at 6 p.m. is the annual Holiday Awards dinner. So please come out and support your brothers and sisters receiving awards and promotions and those things to be recognized. So going to be a beautiful event. Everybody come out. As I told you before on open enrollment, this is what the section looks like I cut out. And what happens is down there in the right hand corner, that block is going to be checked. If you haven't gone on there and done this year, even no matter what your status was last year, if you haven't done anything, that block is going to be checked. For me, I'm a non-user of tobacco, so I have to check that block right there, which then removes the other one. So what if you don't do that each year, it defaults back to the one that I showed you down the bottom that you do not receive the discount. So if you are a non-user of tobacco and you elect medical coverage, please check the appropriate block, as I did. If you are a user of tobacco but you want the medical coverage, then it's the block below that. And if you don't use medical coverage from the county, then you check the third block, and the fourth one is the one that's checked already. So make sure you do that. Thought we'd Rosa's published out the parade schedule for this year. Pretty busy season for us, so I'd like to get started. On the 1st is a Lakeland parade. We're having honor guard folks. All of these we're having an apparatus or multiple apparatus in, but some of them we're also having the honor guard and some bike team support there too, as well as some other vehicles. But the 1st is a Lakeland parade, and honor guard's going to march in there also, and we've got 3 bike teams going to assist Lakeland FD for medical coverage in the area. On the 2nd is at Auburndale Winter Haven Parade. Likewise, we're having the honor guard and 2 bike teams assist there for medical coverage. What these are events, it's hard to believe it's Christmas again already. On the 3rd is the Polk City Christmas Parade. We're going to have an apparatus in there, but of course the honor guard or bike teamers aren't going to be there in support of that. And on the 3rd also is Fort Meade. Some of these are at different times of the day, but just to make you aware of them. On the 9th is the Bartow Parade, where honor guard and 2 bike teams or 4 team members are going to be working the Bartow Parade too. So that's on the 9th. On the 10th is the Lake Wells Parade. We'll have apparatus in there also. And the 10th is Mulberry. And finally, the 10th we have Davenport. All 3 of those on the same day. So as you can tell, the first 10 days of Davenport, first 10 days of December are pretty busy with parades. Some of our committee status committees have been meeting feverishly, and a lot of good results coming out of that. The uniform committee is going to be meeting after the Survey Monkey is complete, and they've tabulated the results and everything. So they're not going to meet again until after that. They just met recently, but they're waiting on the results of the survey to come back before they proceed. The 4th, tomorrow, is the awards committee meeting. And again, as we said earlier to the briefing the battalion chiefs, we don't want to miss anybody. A lot of folks did anything last fiscal year between October 1st and September 30th that we may not have heard about in the office. So we'd like to make sure that if you know of somebody or somebody that works for you or with you, please get us the information, especially to the Chief Williams, about some outstanding actions that were done that may warrant a recognition. So we want to get those in. Do that very, very quickly, but let us know about what's out there. So they're meeting again tomorrow on the 4th at 9 o'clock here at headquarters. The ambulance committee, chaired by Raf, and also the apparatus committee, which is chaired by Chief Krause, are to a point now where they're in the process of scheduling visits to different manufacturers, seeing they've gotten the input from the committee, and they're going to take the committee to some of these manufacturers so they can see the actual build of the apparatus and how the ambulances and how they're made to get other ideas and to answer some of their questions. I did have a question, but since the last one about, well, what about the tower or the ladder committees, the aerial committees, and some of those other specialty vehicles? Those are going to begin probably mid-year. They're going to start getting together. The reason we did the hurry up on the ambulance and the fire engine committee was the fact that we have those in the budget for this year, and we need to hurry up and get those. Know what we're going to purchase. We don't have any of the specialty vehicles in the budget for this year, but we do want to meet and get that stuff ironed out. But the priority was on the engines and the ambulances because, again, we have to hurry up and purchase some of those, and we don't want to be at the end of the year getting them. So that will be forthcoming around mid-year. The SCBA PPE committee met yesterday, and they had some representative for some of the new technology from Scott. They're also meeting out at Ridge on 11/16. There's an opportunity to test some of the air packs that they've got, the new stuff, in some of the burn situations out there. So that's going to happen next. But we've got some units going to the field, and in the meantime, and they will be tested under live fire conditions at Ridge on the 16th. It was an opportunity that came up. So that's our committee status for this week. Some more reminders. Next week, Monday through Friday, the IT firewall upgrades are going to upgrade in the following station: the North Lakeland Medic Station, the West Lakeland Medic Station, the East Lakeland Medic Station, and stations 110 and 120. So everybody be aware that they'll be coming around there. The IT folks will be coming around there to do some hands-on upgrade and just make them feel welcome, show them where all your stuff's at and everything like that. Assist them as necessary. We want to get this upgrades done and our security enhanced at our stations. Rosa asked me to mention that everybody's doing a great job. She's getting very positive feedback on the Pub Ed events that you guys are going out on. Everybody's doing great. Thank you. She's noticed that some of the supplies, they may have events and they don't have supplies. Please contact Rosa ahead of these events in good time, and you can use her email there at rosalalonde@polk-county.net and let her know if you need some supplies delivered for Pub Ed. She'll make sure you get them. She wants to make sure that everybody's stocked up to continue doing a great job at these Pub Ed events. So again, this is our busy season for that. So please check your supplies and let Rosa know if you need more. My weekly nag here is about inventory. We need to find this stuff. We're going to find it. And the Chiefs issued a deadline of 12/1, so get ready to get very intent on that. As always, our command staff meetings are generally every Wednesday and generally at 9 o'clock in the morning to let everybody know that's where a lot of some of the decisions are made, some of the questions that you have or some of the comments that you have are taken, and the chief, we talk about them and things like this. So that's why sometimes I don't get right back to you. But if you do have anything that you think of could be good, email somebody and say, hey, this, and we'll try to address those issues. On the I don't know if it's a good news story or at least some recognition. We got a letter today. The chief got a letter, not today, but a few days back from Pasco County Fire. If you guys remember, on August 31st, they had a fire in Bayonet Point Hospital in Hudson, and they initiated the statewide mutual aid request. And of course, Polk County responded with ambulances and some folks to go up and evacuate a hospital which had been had a fire in it. A monumental undertaking. It was Bayonet Point Hospital, as I said earlier, in the emergency evacuation of a hospital. In all, they moved 224 patients. They relocated 224 patients, not just Polk County, but all the surrounding responding EMS folks did. And as you can see here, this letter was sent by their fire chief, Mr. Casson, and he extending his thanks and appreciation for all that our folks did over there. And so we'd like to, do the same. Make sure that those folks who participated in that understand that we appreciate their dedication. That was a very long night, if I recall. I'm sure it was pretty tense for those folks over there. But again, great job. Thank you very much. Very, very glowing letter about how well our folks did from the chief up there. So keep up the good work, and just read this letter. I can get a copy if anybody needs it. As always, we appreciate your input. Try to answer your questions. Going through the telestaff upgrades and things now, we're kind of stretched pretty thin here getting all that stuff right. But again, we do appreciate your questions and your comments. We make sure that folks know about it, and we'll get you an answer if we can pretty quickly. But until next week, you guys keep doing the good work that you're doing, and let me know if you have any questions or comments, and everybody be safe out there.